One.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Objective. We're going to be talking about the Mar-a-Lago raid by the FBI on Trump's estate, which, I got to say, we wanted to wait till we had enough information, so we didn't comment on it right away. And now we've got, no more information than we did. Please leave a like, send us your super chats, and hit that join button to become a member of the channel. Speaking of which, Nick Bruno has become a member. Welcome to the channel, Nick. You look cool in that picture. You got sunglasses. Cool beard, it looks like. I mean, this is the types of people we attract here on the channel. So you'll be in good company if you hit that join button. Here with me to discuss this is, political enthusiast, full-time political junkie, if I recall. It's Amanda Maxim. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I have sunglasses, but no beard, so I'm not sure if I'm completely qualified to be here.
We'll work on that. You looked like you were stretching your arm. I wasn't sure if you were raising your hand to ask, like you already weren't sure what I'm talking about. Like, we're going to talk about Donald. Yeah.
I was trying to turn the light on, actually.
Oh, I was like, am I already speaking past? But I mean, I joke. So anyway, so here's the deal. Donald Trump, I don't know if you heard, he was president, controversial.
I did hear that.
A bit of a handful, I understand some people see him as like all that is right with the world and just like everything. He's the hero that we need. I think the average kind of sensible person says, whether he's the devil or not, it's just like, isn't this like just more trouble than it's worth to even have him in politics at this point? Like, you can't find anybody else. That's maybe I'm speaking on behalf of too many people. I should just speak on my own behalf. I think I've done a lot of thinking about him, and I think he is an absolute disaster, which for reasons we'll get into. But the FBI raided his estate in Palm Beach, Florida, his house, where one of the places where he lives. And they were looking for like classified documents, basically stuff he was supposed to turn over and give back when leaving office. And that's what they were looking for. I think it's unclear. Did they find anything? Were they right to be suspicious? If they did find something, was it planted? Was the search legitimate, or is this politics? Is this the Democrat Party trying to make Trump look bad before election season? And if so, did they only make him look like a martyr, which actually will help him become president again? So anyway, those are some of the questions. Do you have any of the answers?
I have some of the answers because I did look at a Wall Street Journal article this morning. Uncharacteristic of me, I am like nearly 0% interested in news and politics, but I wanted to see what the show was going to be about today. I agree, Trump is trouble with the capital Trub, and okay, so what I can surmise is it looks like Trump forgot to return some library books, and but they're really important library books, so the FBI came and wanted to get them back.
Yeah, and people, they immediately jump to conclusions. So like the anti-Trump people immediately will say, oh, he's guilty, and he's treasonous, and of course the pro-Trump people immediately. So Steven Crowder, just a full-time charlatan, I think if I had to say one person in social media, popular culture is responsible for just the most rabble-rousing imaginable, I think this guy, Steven Crowder, is it. Like, this guy he's smart enough to know what he's doing. He's not a dumb guy, but he just lies around the clock and exaggerates, and so he announces, this is war. How do you know it's war? Why does it need to be war? Maybe Trump would it shock you if you actually knew for a fact that Trump actually held on to documents he was supposed to return? Would your jaw drop to the floor? You wouldn't say, oh yeah, that's our Donnie. And these things really do matter. I said the same thing when they ran into the Capitol building in January 6th. I said, like, even if they had no malicious intent, however you want to stretch it, like they were just having a good time. This is a very serious place where jokes could be very much get you sent to Guantanamo Bay. Like, you don't joke around. You don't go into a courtroom and tell jokes to the judge. You don't So when you're the president of the United States and you're leaving, it's very important that there not be any misunderstandings or any oversight. So I understand, yeah, it could be a misunderstanding, but like immediately people just want to assume, oh, this is politically motivated and one way or the other. And I just think it's very sloppy of them.
Yeah, that, and also, come on, Trump as a spy. I'm not like, that's not even an interesting story. I can't even imagine him trying to be a spy. How would he pull that off? It's not like the Jean Le Carre novels that I ever read, No.
Yeah, so I don't think anyone's accusing him of being a spy. I think more likely he's holding on to stuff he could trade for favors with let's say foreign governments or foreign forces or whoever wants the documents. So yeah, that's what I think people would accuse him of.
Okay.
Or just he just go ahead. Yeah.
This is like all. It just sounds like all conspiracy theories, so he's going to use the documents to trade them with foreign countries for what advantage? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not serious enough about the news, but these types of things seem just sometimes like non-stories. Like you said, are we trying to make something out of something that's not really actually a story?
That's the question. There's a lot we don't know. So at this point, we're in a place in the world where, the state of affairs is such that we have no real reason to trust either party, like either side of this raid. The FBI has been a mischievous and, not non-rights protecting part of the government, maybe always, but certainly since the war on drugs. And then you've got Donald Trump, who has just been openly defiant, openly rogue, just openly basically saying he wants to be king, openly, not even trying to tiptoe around his true thoughts about a rule of law and separation of powers and checks and balances and all that. Just straight up, if he did hold on to these documents, it could be just because he just didn't feel like giving them away. He was like, yeah, these are mine. I want to hang them up, or I just like having them. Maybe they'll be worth a lot of money someday. That's it. It's not necessarily that he's going to trade them, but I mean, it is conceivable though that he is entangled in all types of blackmailing relationships with people around the world, because he's kind of a nutty, bad guy in my estimation. And it wouldn't shock me if there's someone in the world who wants some classified American documents and might have a videotape of Donald Trump with some prostitutes and is holding it over him. I mean, it's not, again, my jaw would not drop, but the fact that people immediately want to say, here's what's going on. And if you don't see it, you're a sucker. And if you do see it, you need to get ready for actual war. This is war. Really? You want to go to war? Do you know what war looks like? These people think they'll be sitting at home watching a live stream of the war on their phone. No internet, no food, no nothing. You are on your own until the war is over, and you're probably going to die. That's what war actually looks like. These people drive me crazy.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I like to hang back a little bit with political stuff. So the news will trickle down to me, but a lot of times when stories break, it's unclear what's happening or why, and then you can get kind of sucked into these different opinions of stuff, and I'm just not interested in that. And so I'll just wait around and see how the facts actually play out. So that's my news strategy. But I am sympathetic to people who are because there are people that really like politics. So I don't know. I guess this is interesting.
I'm sort of in the halfway house. I don't pay close attention to which senator did what or whatever. I mostly kind of dozed off during the Trump presidency, to be honest. The more I see, the less I believe. It's become almost impossible to avoid politics completely. I'm in my recommended videos right now because I've got our episode open on my screen, and in the recommended videos, it's by Fox News, and the title is Joe Rogan: This was the real goal of the Trump raid. Joe Rogan. And, I clicked on it earlier, and it's just a clip of Rogan talking to some other comedian. So just a couple of guys that are not particularly informed or educated, sitting around recording a 3-hour conversation, the whole we're in the living room kind of vibe. And like Rogan is just kind of like, yeah, like I feel like the raid on Mar-a-Lago was, to like make Trump not win in 2024, something like that. Just like, okay, well, write this down, everybody. Fox News now reports this. It's like Joe. So yeah, they want to get clicks. They want to have the inside scoop. And like, yeah, this is Fox News. This is a news organization. I know they've been a circus, maybe always, but certainly for a long time. So it shouldn't surprise me. But like, I still can't like understand what makes a semi-dignified news company like write as the title, Joe Rogan, this was the real goal of the Trump raid. And then like the actual clip is just Rogan just kind of like, yeah, I think they probably just like don't want Trump to run. Like, Jesus Christ almighty.
So are there real reporters around still? There's got to be, right? Or, okay, here's some advice, world. It sounds like, from what I can surmise here, that there aren't real reporters anymore, like people who are really serious about the truth and care about things like, oh, the story is still developing, so we're gonna cast it in that light. Like, these are the facts that we know so far, and here's what we can say, and here's what we can't say. And like they care about being objective, but they still have their own opinions about the world, because obviously you're a person and they have good opinions. So it sounds like there's no, like, those people don't exist, which means there's a vacuum to be filled. And so we could all, maybe someone out there is listening and they think, I could be a real reporter. You should do it, because I'd love to read actual, good stuff by real serious reporters.
Yeah, I guess I think there's a number of things going on in the world of news reporting and stuff. I mean, there are actual liars out there that'll only tell you part of the truth because of their sort of beliefs, like what they want. They want to further the interests of one political party over another or something like that. That definitely exists. But also kind of on a more benign level, like I think a lot of people, they have a hard time even separating facts from their values, I think. And yeah, our values are present whenever we observe and integrate and interpret what's happening. So like, yeah, it's like that is part of being human, and we need to control for that. And we need to, this is why epistemology, AKA philosophy, is so important. So I think there's a number of things going on. Also, there's other considerations when you have such big companies and so many different people telling you what to do, and different bosses you might upset, and different advertisers, sponsors you might lose or gain. It just, and the ratings and all that. Like there's just there's a lot probably that goes into what makes news journalism sort of what it has become. Yeah. Speaking of becoming, I don't know how to make that word make sense right now, but kind of in the Nietzschean sense, Marilyn is becoming by super chatting, a super chatter saying maybe Liz Cheney for president with the wondering thinking emoji. Thank you for the super chat. So Liz Cheney, is she the wife of Dick Cheney or the daughter or this? Like, do you know who she actually is?
I have no idea, but I have heard the name before, and I think she's up in one of these, like maybe Montana or Wyoming. Am I right? No,
I don't know. I know she's a federal. She's on the federal level, either congresswoman, senator, or just person who's on C-SPAN a lot talking to Congress. I know a lot of people that are. Oh, I know a lot of people that are excited about her. I don't know anything about really about her politics or what she does. That I guess I view as positive. If people around me are getting excited about somebody, it's nice to be able to get excited about a politician. So I would look into her. Maybe there's something there. I've never heard the words Liz Cheney and excited in the same sentence. That's really,
Really?
I'm curious. Well, are you hanging around like more of an academic, like kind of centrist, quote unquote, environment? Like people they're kind of looking for a glimpse of sanity in this insane age we live in. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody completely different. Also possible.
That's possible as well. There's not a lot of excitement about her right now. I'll tell you that. Well, Nick, the newest member, says daughter. Now, speaking of becoming, he has become a member. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Nick.
And you guys notice how I asked. I don't know if she's his daughter, his wife. Like, I didn't just get on here and pretend to know something I don't know. That ought to set an example for the rest of the media. She's his daughter, and she lost yesterday, says Marilyn, the member, defeated yesterday by a trumpet, meaning a MAGA, Trump type, populist type of politician.
Like a trumpet is a girl? Is that what's...
I think so. Like a trumper or a trumpet, maybe is
like a waiter or a waitress.
Maybe a trumpet. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't pay that close attention to politics, but I could have told you for a while now. Liz Cheney she's kind of like the last standing never Trumper. So especially since the January 6th shenanigans, Liz Cheney was kind of the one who was like trying to bring the maximum consequences to Trump and to anyone who aided and abetted, whatever the word is, Donald Trump. So she's like, definitely, people who like Trump see Liz Cheney as like a traitor to the party and as, an arm of the left, like a spokesperson for the leftist Democrats. So basically, she's being laughed out of town now. So she lost an election. She apparently represents Wyoming, and she was beat by a Trump-approved candidate. So I'm still kind of curious to see what's going to happen when actual like midterms happen or the presidential elections, because we haven't really had a national election since 2020. So we've only seen Republicans go at each other, and I guess Democrats go at each other, but we haven't yet seen how's the country going to respond to the developments that Trump sort of brought to the Republican Party, especially in the aftermath of the election. That we still don't know. So it definitely looks like Trump is winning still. Like, it looks like the pro-Trump types of Republicans are defeating the Liz Cheneys of the world. Evidently, she lost yesterday and is being laughed at by all the other Republicans. But how's the country feeling about Trump and his ilk?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the question of, are we going to slip further into fascism or communism? Which one's going to be?
I think it's going to be fascism either way. I don't think it's going to be communism, technically speaking. Yes, the Democrats, they're kind of more likely to have a hammer and sickle hanging in their locker at school or at work, but they're not really communists. Communism lost. Communism lost. Good. Fascism won. Fascism won. Yeah, that's the bad part. Yeah. When the Berlin Wall came down, people didn't say, "Oh, look, capitalism works." No, they said, "Oh, mixed economy, corporations and government working together. That's the answer." So yeah.
That is such a shame, because don't you think when the Berlin Wall came down, I mean, what an amazing event. Can you imagine even being there and seeing the bricks being torn down? And I know people that bought a brick of the Berlin Wall because they wanted it as, a memory or a souvenir of like what happened and how the world had changed in such a positive way. There was a wall that came down, a wall that you couldn't go from one country to another because you were trapped there, and it came down. And what the lesson was, mixed economy.
Yeah, I mean, it blows my mind that wall was there, that Germany, like the east part of Germany, was part of the Soviet Union. That's weird to me, right? Germany is a normal country now, right? They're Western, so it kind of blows my mind that they were stuck behind that wall. But yes, it is amazing the wall came down, and it is still a lot. There's a lot to celebrate there, meaning basically the status quo won, and the status quo was, as it still is, the mixed economy, elements of capitalism, elements of government controls. And, we've got quite an uphill battle to fight, but it's a hell of a lot better than having that wall up and having something like the Soviet Union threatening to swallow. So, yeah, but everyone, there's something for everybody there. A little bit of pessimism, a little bit of optimism. And yeah, absolutely. I think in the views of the average person and in the views of most people in the world, laissez-faire capitalism is still out of the question. To them, it's silly, it's a fantasy, it's utopia the way they see it. Like, really, you trust people to just follow their own judgment all the time? And they conflate it with anarchy. I mean, there's a lot to get into of like why people reject capitalism. And I think the only way they'll accept capitalism or even be open to it is if their ethics change from presuming altruism to actually understanding like egoism, selfishness, individual selfishness is what life requires and what makes life worth living. And then capitalism makes a lot more sense to them. Speaking of cents and dollars, we've got 5 of those coming from Mar-a-Lago saying Cheney sticks to her principles. These days, that makes her heroic. Most politicians betray their principles if they even have any. Yeah, that's true. And part of how I see Trump is that he kind of told Republicans, your principles are making you lose. You know, your principles are making the left or the Democrats beat you, and China are beating you, and everyone's beating you because you're so principled. So Trump, he's kind of like, if principles are like, you know, the evil machines of the future, Trump is like John Connor. He's like showing these downtrodden Republicans living in squalor. You could actually fight back. Basically, forget the principles. Show how unprincipled you are. Be tribal. Be partisan. And you can win. Yeah, you can win an election or two, but who are you fighting against? Who are you beating when you are becoming that which you most hate? Robert Nacer with $2 says, Mar-a-Lago for president.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to that.
We need a hero. Let's do it.
We sure do. So anyway, the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago. They raided Donald Trump's estate. Immediately, people who love Trump or hate Trump they magically have so much information about all this. And sadly, I don't know if we're ever really going to know what happened, because I don't know if we can ever really trust the FBI. And I certainly don't think we can ever really trust Donald Trump to be A, coherent, and B, let alone well-intentioned in his actions. So God help us all.
Yes.
Anyway, coming up today at 10 p.m. UK time, it's Life on Earth with Robert and Amy Nacer on capitalism. Who do you work for? And that's you with the letter U. I'm wondering if they're talking about like U-Haul company or something like that, but I guess we can find out.
Could be UPS.
Yeah.
Or USPS.
Right. Or Federal Express, which always confuses me a little bit. Like federal, are they the government? Oh no, they're the private answer. They're the private sector's answer to USPS. This
is another big shame in the universe, by the way. Like, doesn't the Postal Service used to be really exciting work? Like, they would ride around on horses and they had to get the message there, you know, in time for someone to read it. And it was really, you know, it was like exciting. And I don't know, there was like real coins exchange, like, go get this message there. You have to do it. And it was a really important job.
Well, I think, you know, I'll be contrarian in a positive way. Like there is a lot of private action, a lot of private sector action in delivery, which is luckily permitted, right? Thank God we're allowed to send stuff to each other without the government sticking their nose in. And if you look at a UPS driver, they get paid by the delivery and they are racing against the clock. They don't care about nothing but getting this job done. Probably FedEx is similar as well. You know, you go to FedEx, Kinko's, and it's a wonderful, inviting place. You go into USPS, the post office, it's not as welcoming and nice. So there's something for everybody here. We got good news and bad.
You're right. You've turned me around. I'm no longer a pessimist. I see the Amazon trucks, and that does make me smile. And there's something really cool and heroic about that I can now order something and it comes to me. They tell me what day it will arrive. And if it doesn't arrive on that day, they're serious about it. They're like, oh my gosh, your order has been delayed. This is a tragedy. We're definitely going to fix this. Here's what's going on. It's important.
Oh yeah. So, you can return stuff. Absolutely. You can get a refund. Yeah. It's good times. It's good times all around. But there is some BS sometimes with Amazon. Like if they send you the wrong thing or they don't send you it and they say they sent it, they say it was delivered, but it wasn't, or it's missing something. And then you try getting in touch with someone. It's not always as simple as it should be. So The modern world, it's got its perks for sure, but sometimes I'd rather be living in simpler times. Anyway, thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Amanda. This has been an interesting conversation. We are no closer than we were to the truth of the Mar-a-Lago raid, but maybe that's what the people need to hear right now.
Yeah, we are no closer to the truth. Keep investigating, investigators, though. Let's do that.
That's right. Watch the watchers. And we will be back tomorrow for the Daily Objective once again. See you then, and goodbye.
Bye.